Say something.
My name is Kate Butterfield nee Connor, and I've lived in San Miguel nearly 30 years. In November it will be 30 years. I came here in 1987. I am presently retired, but part of the archive project. Although I look forward to it.
You don't have to confess. Okay.
I came here that same year in March to check the place out, as I heard from someone that there were lots of Spanish schools, which was true. There were several to pick from, and I picked one that is no longer there. Maybe that has something to do with my non-proficiency in Spanish, although I won't blame it on that. And what impressed me the most when I got here was that people got off work at 2. I love that idea. After working my whole life up to that point, I thought that just sounded great. I knew I could always go back, and there was several employers that had offered me jobs, so I knew that was an option. And I was ready to stay here until I changed my mind. Well, my first impressions of the city when I got here was that one had a lot of walking to do compared to California, where I was from, where we did everything in the car. And I liked that idea. The weather was beautiful. It was my scouting trip, which was in April of that year. I guess probably Easter vacation, something like that, because it was before I quit work. And I just, like I say, I fell in love with the city. It seemed everyone was very welcoming and friendly, and not like today really, when you don't know everybody. You don't recognize them even. I went to an event the other night and there were 77 people there. I didn't know even one. That wouldn't have happened back in 1987. And what was a typical day like for me? Well, I got work as an assistant to an accountant. And I kind of have this organizing ability, and it probably stops right there. But I did that off for various accountants for 87 to about 2004, 13, 14, yeah. So my day consisted of going to the office around 9 or 10 and finishing up at 2, just as my dreams had predicted. And there was social life at night, which, as one gets older, sometimes you don't participate as much in the social life. But there's still plenty of parties going on. Way far fewer art openings where people would go to get a free glass of wine. Today it's different. It's been elevated. Most things are private parties, although there are still some art openings, because there certainly are a lot of galleries here in San Miguel. Dan Rupert's, of course, being the top one. And let's see, what was, I guess that was the social life. Was there interaction between foreigners and locals? In my opinion, a lot more than there is today. I took Spanish lessons off and on for many, many years, and all of these teachers, if they weren't Mexican, their assistants were. So I had that interaction. Unfortunately, unfortunately probably in learning Spanish, they all spoke English. So I would personally not think San Miguel is a place to go to learn Spanish. Everybody likes, all the restaurants like to show the fact that they can speak Spanish. All of the servers, English. All the servers speak English. Most of the restaurants are in both languages. You'd be much better off going to someplace like, I don't know where the schools are, but Guatemala, Mexico City. Now, my husband is from Mexico City, so I have learned more Spanish through the interaction with his friends than I was able to practice it here in San Miguel. A lot of his friends pause. Okay, I did feel that the relationships between foreigners and locals was good in my experience at that time, and although some people think it has deteriorated, I don't really notice that. Let's see, what other questions? See, I was involved in several charities throughout these past 30 years. One of them was CASA, which is the group, the organization that goes out into the campo with their employees to interview and to explain birth control, etc., to the villagers. And I was a driver for several years. I worked in various fundraising events that they had throughout the years, and then I became involved in the 90s, the late 90s, with the Audubon, Sociedad Audubon de Mexico. And I was on the board of that organization for 10 years as we were involved with methods of having proper sand excavation from the Rio Laja, as well as schoolyard. We began a schoolyard ecology project with the help of Audubon of Latin America, which was based in Miami, which no longer exists, but I was president of that organization in 99 and 2000, I think 2001. And it was a privilege to work with the other volunteers as well as the people involved in the campo. It was a great learning experience for me and gave me a view of what the hardships are these people have, such as they have always been accused of having trash everywhere. In truth, they had no trucks to come and pick up the trash. Hopefully that has changed today. I'm not really sure, but the municipal was not involved in their trash pickup. To me, that was interesting. Another thing that stands out in my mind was investigating the river tributaries of the Laja and having a bottle of pure water in my hand when I saw two kids on a burro going clear up to trying to find water at the source of this river. And all of a sudden you go, they don't have water. They have to spend hours a day looking for water. Now, that's not the case in every part of Guanajuato, but in some parts it was. I now limit myself to one-day events and work with Amigos de Animales, in which we spay cats and dogs at usually 3 or 4 times a year at big spay weekends where veterinarians usually from here, but sometimes from the States, volunteer their services.
Okay, well, thank you, Kate. Is there anything else you'd like to add to this interview?
No, but I have enjoyed it more than I thought I would, and I'm sure that if other people see any of these interviews, they will become more interested in being involved. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.